So we're going to move on to B-80, and we're going to try to figure out what the new notation is going to be for roots. So please push pause so you can read through the problem to see what it's asking. So for this problem, we're going to write down 17 to the power of x is equal to the cube root of 17. So the question is, do you know what x could be equal to? So I want you to take the time to tell me. If we know that the bases are the same, we know we have 17 and 17. The bases are the same. What can x equal? So if we move on to B, there's a lot of things going on here. So the first part is saying that the cube root of 17 cubed is going to be 17. Okay, so we got to go back and look at this problem. So it's saying that if we have the cube root of 17 and we know we have 17x, we are going to make sure that this is cubed, but whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other side. So that's why this portion is focusing on this. So the question is, can we write 17 to the power x to the power of 3 and make it equal to 17 to the power of 3 to the x? Think about the rules of exponents that we did in Algebra 1. What can we do with these two? So is she correct? Can we write, is this statement correct? Yes or no, and tell me why. And I want you to write a sentence down and be ready to share. So I would agree, because if you have a squared times 3 to the power of 3, we know that we can multiply, because a squared times a squared times a squared, 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6. So this does give us a to the 6th power. So we can multiply those. So x times 3 can be written as 3x. So I would agree. So now we're going to build from part A to part B, and from part B to part C. So we know it said that this was equal to 17. So we know, I'm going to go back to the bottom. So we know that this portion is going to be 17. And we stated that that is going to be equal to 17 to the power of 3x. And my question is, if we don't have an exponent, what exponent do you think it's going to be? You have a hint right here. So now we got to figure out what this x is going to equal. Because this is a base and that is a base and they're the same. So if the bases are the same, we know that the exponents are going to be equal. So we know that 3x is equal to 1. I know that 3 times x is, they're being multiplied. So in order to undo, I need to divide. So x is equal to 1 over 3. So here's my question. If x is equal to 1 over 3, what do you think the value of that x is going to be? After having done all the work, we know that x has to be equal to 1 over 3. So let's answer the question. So the first question was, what does this tell me about the radical? So we know we have the cube root of 17. That is what we started with here. We did all of that work, and we know that we can rewrite this as 17, and the exponent is going to be 1/3. So I want you to type this into your calculator. It's going to be 1.9129 and extends forever. And then if you type in 17 to the power of 1/3, you're also going to get 1.929, and it just keeps going. So that you know that your approximation, you can use your calculator to check that both of these are going to be very close. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write the square root of 5. There's an imaginary number of a 2. I want you to rewrite it. How would I rewrite it? With what would the exponent be if I was to rewrite it? And the 5th root of 11. What would this exponent be? So I want you to pause the video and I want you to work it out. Use your notes, the work that we've done, to determine what those are going to be. So I'm going to help you out working out through the example. So we're going to start with 16 to the power of 3 over 2. Okay, so we know that 3 over 2 is 3 times 1/2. So we're going to use this to rewrite it, making this an exponent. So we're going to have 16 to the power of 3. We've already used this 3, so we're going to leave our 1/2. Now, if we go back to this problem, we know that this can be rewritten as 5 to the power of 1 over 2. So this is where this 1/2 comes from. Also from that problem, we know that the exponent 1/2 is actually the square root of whatever we have inside 16 to the power of 3. So that is how we start this problem. And this should be our final product, which it is. So take time to work through A through